Hello and welcome to Daswolfen's Den. I'm your host, Daswolfen. This is my random stream of randomness. This is number 4 in the series. Want to say hi to people in the stream. Looks like we've got a Polymies Minion and Alf Jeebus so far. Thank you very much for coming. So today we're going to talk about some things going on in the news and pop culture. Look at some scoops from Mikey Sutton, who is the scoop master general. He has like a really good track record as far as scoops are concerned. And look at some other news and maybe a few complaints and maybe a surprise game or two. So anyway, well, that's enough of that. So let's get started with our first scoop. Tom Holland is going to be reprising his role and joining the Avengers in the Kang Dynasty. It says Tom Holland's Spider-Man returns in the Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Sources reveal that Disney and Sony continue to work with each other through MCU's next phases. Given that the last collaboration, Spider-Man No Way Home, earned nearly $2 billion global, there's no surprise there. However, it wasn't the case on August 20th, 2019. That's when Sony threatened to pull Spider-Man from the MCU. Which would be Mikey Sutton, revealed it was nothing but a negotiation tactic for Sony to obtain a better deal. On the other hand, most media outlets fell for it. I stuck to the information my insiders told me. I was the only one. In the end, I was correct. Sony and Disney had reached a new deal 1 month later. On October 24th, 2019, I then scooped that Tom Holland would team up with previous Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. That became Spider-Man No Way Home, confirmed. At the time, Marvel Studios planned a Secret War project to include them. Time flies and ideas evolve. Nevertheless, on August 20th, we leaked the Avengers Secret Wars unites the trio. In other words, Marvel Studios didn't stray from their 2019 goal. Rather, they just let Spider-Man No Way Home happen first. On the surface, it seemed obvious that Marvel Studios would add Tom Holland to Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Still, my sources refused to commit to it. Over the weekend, they revealed that Holland is all in on Avengers: Kang Dynasty. Any Avengers film is a potential blockbuster. After all, the Avengers movies are among Marvel Studios' biggest hits, and placing Holland's Spider-Man in them is throwing gasoline on the fire. Boom. Certainly, Spider-Man No Way Home is elevated to Holland's box office poll. For now, Marvel Studios is keeping Kang Dynasty Avengers lineup under lock and key, but insider stated Holland will be in the company of Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Simu Liu's Shang-Chi, and Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, of course, among others. Kang Dynasty shares the title of writer Kurt Busiek's 2001 comic book storyline. Still, I doubt Marvel Studios will directly adapt it. Maybe. Nonetheless, it's obviously the show the same big bad, the time-traveling Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Wish I could share how Spider-Man plays into this tale. Unfortunately, nobody's spelling it right now. Stay tuned, definitely. So there we have it. We've got Tom Holland definitely coming back for the first of the 2 Avengers films in 2024 and 2025. The first one, obviously, is the Kang Dynasty, which is going to take off from the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because that's where Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror is going to be the big bad, and that's probably where it'll spin out from there. If you've seen the trailer for that, it shows Kang in his costume, complete with the lines on his face. So it looks like they're definitely going for a comic accurate look at some point, which I think I like it when they do that. That's, my personal opinion. Some people, when the X-Men came out, the original X-Men movie back in, was it 2000? The people weren't, people didn't really think that much of their costumes, and I didn't either. They went for like this black leather look instead of comic accurate, and people have been wanting comic accurate characters for a long time. That includes, back then they wanted Wolverine because they teased it in, I believe it was the Wolverine, when he's on the plane and he opens up the case and it's got his black and yellow helmet and costume in it. And so yeah, so it's good to see them doing that. Well, we have another scoop. Mikey Sutton. Cameron Crowe eyes Dua Lipa for Dazzler movie. Cameron Crowe, director of Almost Famous, has his eyes on making a Dazzler film with Dua Lipa. Dazzler, the mutant who converts sound vibrations into light and energy beams, has heightened love for music. Could a movie featuring this mutant pop icon be the perfect fit for Crowe to helm? Moviegoers would know Crowe for films in the 90s and early 2000s like Singles, Jerry Maguire, and Vanilla Sky. In fact, most of these are multi-award winning movies. He also wrote the classic teen comedy Fast Times at Ridgemont High from 1982. Notably, his debut film is Say Anything, which hit theaters in 1989. Crowe's passion for music shows in Almost Famous. The movie itself is a semi-autobiographical movie based on his own life. It's about a teenage writer who wrote for Rolling Stone while following a band. Incidentally, Crowe wrote for Rolling Stone in his younger years. The film starred Patrick Fugit, Billy Crudup, and Kate Hudson. In addition to his film projects, Crowe is also known for making documentaries of music artists. In fact, he's made documentaries for Pearl Jam, Elton John, and David Crosby. Furthermore, he even created a series called Roadies in 2016 about a rock band. The series itself gained high praises from critics and its viewers. However, it didn't get enough of an audience, thus led for its cancellation after just one season. Because of Crowe's love for music, Brian Hatt of Rolling Stone told Crowe he might be fit to make a Dazzler movie, to which Crowe answered, "Throw me a Dazzler movie. Let's do it." However, Cameron Crowe himself is not familiar with the character. Dazzler is also known as Alison Blair. Writer Tom DeFalco and artist John Romita Jr. co-created her. Dazzler first appeared in the Uncanny X-Men number 130 in 1980. Apart from her mutant abilities, she has a talent for music. Thus, she is also a pop star. The character has even made her live-action debut in the 20th Century Fox film Dark Phoenix. Actress Halston Sage portrayed the role in the movie. Hatt himself told Crowe the idea might fit him because Dazzler's music background is a pop star. Hatt gave a few fan cast examples with Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Dua Lipa. Crowe responded immediately after naming Dua Lipa and said, "I'm feeling Dua Lipa for this. Tomorrow I'll be like, yeah, I've been thinking about Dua Lipa for Dazzler, you know? I've been thinking about this for a while." And give you no credit. Laughs. No, I think it's cool. Doing a movie like that could be a blast. You can have a character development and all that deep stuff and also have a spectacle. You can do it, and it's heading there clearly. Crowe thinks that Dua Lipa can embody Dazzler perfectly, as she is a very popular singer herself. Her music is a favorite on the charts since 2014. Lipa has been performing her unique music and style. Even more interesting, she has been multi-awarded for her music performances. Not only is Lipa a popular music artist, she has also started a promising career in acting. She'll be starring in the upcoming film Argylle. Crowe suggests that Lipa is not a bad choice. Then again, fans have suggested her for a while now. With mutants currently showing up in the MCU, it would be interesting to see Crowe make an MCU film featuring Dazzler. Now, while this is a scoop on Mikey Sutton, I don't think this is a real scoop. I think this is just wishful thinking. This is by Edwin Francisco, so it's not a Mikey Sutton scoop. But we'll see. Cameron Crowe could do a decent Dazzler movie. It's definitely in his wheelhouse. But I noticed we got some new people in the audience. I see Anima Confusa and Snortopoopas Cuber, the internet's best polar bear. And hello, Anima. Glad you could make it. Hope you're having a good day. So anyway, that's the rumor. I'm not even going to put that as a scoop. That's just a rumor that somebody had talked to him about it, and he said sure, but he really doesn't know. I'm concerned that he doesn't know who Dazzler is for sure, which, that's been, we've seen what happens when a director doesn't know the source material that well. we get films that aren't worthy of their characters. So up next is another Mikey Sutton scoop. Henry Cavill is reportedly signed on for Justice League 2. Per Giant Freaking Robot, Warner Bros. Discovery included Justice League 2 in Henry Cavill's new contract. Moreover, Giant Freaking Robot adds the sequels to Black Adam and Man of Steel fill out Cavill's agreement. Given that Cavill just exited Netflix The Witcher, this makes sense. After all, it's doubtful that Cavill would have departed The Witcher without anything solid. In addition, this deal sounds similar to my report on Ben Affleck. On October 24th, I scooped that Affleck's latest contract included 3 Batman solo movies. Nevertheless, there are some major differences. Source told me his agreement includes a 4th film, which is a guest appearance. Furthermore, there's no mention of Justice League 2. At least, not yet. Insiders explained that Affleck might be cautious after Joss Whedon's disastrous Justice League flop. Affleck wants to feel secure that he won't repeat the experience. Although the old regime is gone, you certainly can't blame him. In other words, there's nothing to be concerned about. Granted, there are lingering fears of Michael Keaton's Dark Knight replacing Affleck's. However, that's a ghost from the previous Warner Brothers leadership. To Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav, the Trinity consists of Cavill, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and Affleck. Keaton isn't in that picture. GFR even unveiled the planned release date for Man of Steel 2. They stated, of the 3 films, arguably the most significant is the news regarding Man of Steel 2. This will mean Henry Cavill's first appearance as Superman as a solo male lead since 2013's Man of Steel. Considering there's been no official word about production release date, the flick will certainly not arrive until 2024 at the earliest, making a sequel Cavill's first time as Superman in a solo film in over a decade. Sources tell me that Warner Brothers Discovery aims for December 2024 began telling me that Warner Brothers aims for December 2024 about a year ago. After all, Superman is beautiful on Christmas. Nonetheless, this isn't set in stone. Indeed, look at the shifting release dates for Flash and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. On the other hand, James Gunn's DC Studio promises a more focused approach. Although no company is perfect, I doubt DC Studios will make such mistakes. And this ties into another subject we're going to talk about later, and that's Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher. This points out that he wouldn't have left The Witcher without having something else in its place, and I don't see him doing that. Because it doesn't make sense, because they wanted a 4th season, and he turned that down, and that's why he's getting replaced by Liam Hemsworth, which is an interesting choice for Geralt of Rivia. I've heard that part of the reason why he left is he said he would only do the role as long as they were true to the source material and the original books and games. But apparently season 3 may deviate even more than 2 did. So we'll just have to see. That's going to be a developing thing. But this mentions James Gunn, who, as you know, took over with his a partner who's handling the business stuff. He took over the creative side of what's now called DC Studios as of today. So there's, that's the ball's definitely in his court. And I agree. Hello, Chris. Glad you can make it. Hope they're successful. I think the success of the studios will help the success of the indies. I hope so. That would definitely be a good thing. And I'm going to talk about some of the studio success here in a minute with Black Adam. But I think bringing Henry Cavill back is the smartest move they can make. He is Superman for this generation. Now, me growing up, Superman was Christopher Reeve. He's the one we grew up with as a kid. That I grew up with as a kid anyway. All the way up until Superman 4, which kind of, we won't go into that, how bad that movie is. And Brandon Routh did a serviceable job as Superman in Superman Returns, and he is supposed to be Christopher Reeve's Superman. So that's the bookend for that iteration of the character. So there's just certain things in that movie that show that's Christopher Reeve's Superman. There were mistakes made in that movie, sure, but I think overall Brandon Routh did a good job. But Henry Cavill is as much as I like Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill is Superman. He looks it. He's a fan, and I think that is a requirement to do these kind of movies, that you need to be a fan. That's why Deadpool works, because Ryan Reynolds is a fan of Deadpool. That's why Affleck's Batman worked, because Ben Affleck is a fan of Batman. So I mean, it just makes sense to hire somebody that knows the role and wants to be in the role more than just it's a paycheck. And that's why I think that regardless of what's coming out of Marvel, I think this is the start of DC pulling up even. If you're old enough to remember, if this is Danny will appreciate that if he watches this later. The Dark Knight. This is a wrestling analogy. It's like when WCW took over the Monday Night Wars from WWF. Eventually they were just putting out a better product at the time, and more people started watching them than the WWF. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Hopefully it won't end the same way, with WCW crashing and being bought by WW, what turned into WWE, just for their videotape library. Excuse me for a second, I need to step away. Sorry about that. Yeah, so next up, talking about James Gunn. Speculation on whether a Marvel versus DC movie is possible. James Gunn is in a unique position as co-CEO of DC Studios under Warner Brothers Discovery. He's the only director and writer who's worked for both Marvel Studios and DC films. Gunn did Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy films. They turned virtually unknown characters into household names. Now the franchise is closing to release its third film, and there's a streaming Christmas special in a week. With DC films, Gunn made The Suicide Squad and HBO Max Peacemaker. Even though The Suicide Squad was a financial failure, critics still received it better. And the spin-off streaming series, that was a home run for James Gunn. It was one of the most successful shows on the streaming network. While he worked for both Marvel and DC, he did talk with the respective studios chiefs Kevin Feige and Toby Emmerich in regards to making a crossover. While this interested them, the legal issues and directions of both companies were just very different at the time. But with Gunn now at the head of DC Studios, a crossover is now one step closer to that being more than just a possibility. Now let's speculate on how they could do this for real. If they want a Marvel vs. DC film as quick as possible, they could go small scale for now. For one thing, legal issues will be very small. One hero from Marvel and one from DC, with a few other characters from each company. Remember the first Marvel DC superhero crossover comic? Superman vs. the Amazing Spider-Man, the Battle of the Century in 1978. Okay, let's do a modern take. Imagine Ben Affleck's Batman meeting Charlie Cox's Daredevil. How do they meet up? Batman is the fictional city of Gotham, while Daredevil's in its real location, Hell's Kitchen, New York. Comic book fans know they exist in different universes. Both franchises have opened to the multiverse. Marvel has been using this a lot lately, so it's not impossible for Daredevil or Batman to cross over accidentally for some reason. Let's blame Donnie Blaze for opening up portals so randomly. But wouldn't it blow minds for two heroes from two different worlds to meet and fight each other, later on realizing they both have a common enemy and working against them? Could you see Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin working with Jared Leto's Joker? Insane, right? Let me stop here. Not Jared Leto's Joker. I don't want to see Jared Leto's Joker ever again. Now let's get a bit bigger. What if Brie Larson's Captain Marvel fights with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman? Can you visualize that kind of fight? Or Justice League versus the Avengers? They could even adapt the comic written by Kurt Busiek, illustrated by the late and great George Perez. What's more is that both Marvel Comics and DC Comics alternately publish the books. If they could make this a film, legal issues aside, this would be incredible. If it could happen. What if Feige and Gunn would executive produce both movies, and Gunn directs the first film under Warner Brothers Discovery, and the Russo brothers direct a second film? Assuming the Russos will work with Marvel again. Granted, for now this is wishful thinking. It would shock the world, then again, so did Gunn's hiring. If Marvel and DC will push through with this, it could be sometime after the MCU's Phase 6. In other words, Marvel Studios will have finished the Avengers Secret Wars. Feige plans way ahead, so we're sure that it's impossible to make a film any time before that. And 4 years for Gunn laying the groundwork for DC Studios is really fast. So if there's a chance to make this a reality, it would be after Gunn's 4-year contract. But if Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is happy with Gunn's performance in rebuilding DC, they may just renew Gunn's contract. Note that Alan Horn is advising Zaslav. Horn has worked with Disney for 9 years. There can be a lot of hurdles in making Marvel versus DC crossover movie, but this is not impossible. Remember when they thought Sony wouldn't ever let go of Spider-Man? Well, they didn't, but Sony let Marvel have full control over Spider-Man in his MCU reboot. Marvel Studios was also able to get 3 generations of Spider-Man together in one film. That alone is incredible, and it became reality. Gunn is in a position to make Marvel vs. DC crossover actually happen. There's no doubt that fans want it, and I have no doubt that fans following the news have been talking about a possible crossover. And what did The Rock say when one is with a franchise? Listen to the fans. Now, to be honest, I haven't heard a lot of people asking for a DC versus Marvel movie. I mean, it would be cool and all, but it would depend on what storyline they're going to do and what kind of, crossover. If they're going to cross over anything, I think they should do their magic characters. Imagine, the Midnight Suns meeting Justice League Dark and have to solve a case versus dealing with Mephisto and whoever else in the DC universe that's Felix Faust or something. My brain just escaped me there for a second about some high end. Oh crap! What's the father of Raven, whatever his name, and Mephisto working together. Assuming we get Mephisto, which is another rumor, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. So supposedly, Flash is going to pave the way for Henry Cavill's next Superman movie. According to Small Screen, the Flash plays an integral part of DCU's future. Specifically, its post-credits scene teases Man of Steel 2. In fact, it's almost like a prologue. On September 26th, I covered one of YouTube personality Sib Abdul's scoop. Abdul revealed that Henry Cavill's Superman appears in The Flash. Now, Small Screen's Edward Lauder fills in the blanks. The following may contain spoilers. In other words, proceed with caution if you'd rather not know. And that's my spoiler warning for now. And keep in mind, these are speculation, so... But Lauder explained that Cavill shows up more than once in The Flash. Besides the third act cameo, Cavill returns to the post-credits scene. Although it's a short scene, it sets up the future. In a sense, it's similar to Black Adam. Indeed, Black Adam previews an upcoming fight with Superman. On the other hand, Flash leads into Man of Steel 2. Lauder states, however, what we've been told, which adds a bit to their information, is that the post-credit scene will set up a standalone Superman movie. This is the Superman movie that DC Studios are accepting pitches for. We've also been told this particular scene will reportedly introduce DC Comics supervillain Brainiac. This ties in neatly with what we've been told previously about the villain becoming a big part of the DC universe moving forward. We leaked Brainiac in Man of Steel 2 on October 16th. Lauder says his sources told him the same. My insiders collaborated Lauder's story. In fact, they added some details to Lauder's article. For example, Flash apparently won't show Brainiac, instead they'll allude to him. Therefore, the comic book fans will easily guess this Phantom Menace. But the general public will wonder who Cavell's next foe is. Moreover, sources tell me Cavell would be in his Clark Kent identity. The Flash post in the Flash post credits. This confirmed what Adul revealed a month ago. You can watch the video here, which you can go to GoscityMag.com and go to this article and follow that link and watch the video for yourself. DC Studios continues to search for writers for Man of Steel 2. Nevertheless, the movie resumed its early development. Many fans hope Zack Snyder will direct again. To our knowledge, Snyder hasn't signed on yet. Regardless, he just hinted at working with Cavill again. In the meantime, Flash satisfies the craving for more of Cavill's Superman. So they keep adding more to the Flash movie, and I think with the changes they make, it might actually turn out to be a decent movie. With with the addition of Affleck's Batman and now Superman, I wonder if I think Aquaman was already in it, and I'm wondering if Wonder Woman has a cameo, so that way you get at least the Trinity. But we'll see. Comes out this summer, or this upcoming summer, June 23rd, I think, 2023. I might be mistaken on that. Well, off to Marvel news and Black Panther. Now, I'm not going to read this because this will just upset me, but basically, one of the producers, Nate Moore, claimed that Namor is going to be the voice of the colonized, which just adds to the sense that this movie is going to be woke garbage. Not only that, there's the whole thing about them doing, and I'll get it. I've got another article about it later, about the MCU, really pushing this almost all female led Wakanda Forever movie, because basically the only male in it is M'Baku. Although I think the agent is there too, maybe. I'm not sure he's in the movie. I haven't seen that far. But it comes out in a couple of weeks, so we'll find out then. Actually, it comes out a week from Friday. So yeah, but the other article is about them marketing their mostly female Wakanda Forever film. And that's how they've been pushing it. Rumor has it that T'Challa will be killed in the beginning of the movie, leading to the rise of the female Wakandan heroes to fill the void, leading to an attack on Wakanda by Submariner. Without Black Panther, Wakanda will fall, warns Namor in this latest footage from Marvel's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The warrior kings of the hidden undersea nation of Talokan, which technically should be Atlantis, but I can see why they changed the name since they're going with this Aztec, Mayan kind of look. Or was that? Oh, yeah. The hybrid mutant Namor the Submariner surfaces to wage war on Wakanda as the kingdom mourns its own monarch, King T'Challa, who was paid by the late Chadwick Boseman. As this new world power emerges, the new Black Panther strikes. Princess Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. The teaser shows the black and gold clad Black Panther unsheathing her claws and wielding sonic energy, firing vibranium gauntlets invented by Shuri in 2018's Black Panther. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a girl power movie. Now, not saying that's a bad thing. It could actually, if they do it right, it could actually work. But considering their ham-fisted approaches at doing it recently, such as in the A-Force moment in Avengers Endgame, we can, Marvel really doesn't have that great of a track record. Because look at Phase 4, and as Gary likes to say, the same people who made Phase 4 also made Phase 5. Well, I'm glad you could make it, Christopher. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. It's just me talking about some scoops, and then I might play a little game later. And November 3rd, which is in 2 days, is Godzilla Day. Because in November 3rd, 1954, Godzilla originally showed up for the Silver Screen in Gojira. Since then, over 35 films have been made, starting with enormous mutated kaiju, which resulted in a multi-billion-dollar franchise and global fandom for over several decades. First conceived of in Japan, Godzilla quickly became a household name and has been featured in standalone books, comics, TV series, countless lines of consumer products, and more. Fans looking to celebrate Godzilla Day will have access to a variety of exciting activities and offerings, which include screenings across the U.S. Apparently, they're showing Godzilla against Mechagodzilla from 2002. You can see the original 54 at the Alamo Drafthouse, so check your local listings. I've been lucky enough, I've seen the original Gojira on the big screen, so I got to see it on a Godzilla marathon in Columbia, and it's definitely worth seeing on the big screen. And it, even though it's 68 years old, so yeah, that's that. Now I told you I was going to talk about Henry Cavill and The Watcher or The Witcher, but I think I covered that already fairly extensively. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is Black Adam. It only dropped now 59% sounds like a lot, but when you consider the Marvel Phase 4 movies have been dropping in the 70s, and I think Eternals dropped 80% from week to week. So 59% doesn't sound like much, although historically, and this is according to Box Office Mojo, that historically that October around Halloween's been a weak time period for the box office, and it's been even weaker since the pandemic. And I think, the box office overalls have been anemic since the pandemic, because there's still a lot of people are like, well, I'll just wait until it comes out on streaming. And for 90% of movies, I pretty much do that. Not me personally, I'm not, gonna go pay, 10-15 bucks for a ticket, and then, another 10 or 15 bucks for popcorn and a drink. And, it just, it just adds up when you can just, you're already paying for streaming. You might as well just wait till it shows up. Unless you've absolutely got to see it. And on superhero movies, I'm always there for the first showing. Well, maybe not the first showing, but that opening weekend at some point. Usually on Fridays, sometimes on Saturdays, and rarely on Sunday. I'll go to them. So I even went to Eternals. Yes, I know. So yeah, so I don't think, while all its concerning that it only made 28 million this weekend, I don't see it, surviving Wakanda forever. It does have a free weekend this upcoming weekend where nothing else. I think some indie movie, I think, is it's up against. I don't remember what it is, like Apocalypse something or other. Wasn't I don't think it's a disaster movie. I would have known about that because I love me some disaster porn. But see if this says it. Nope. It just goes on. Just talks about the top 10. Um, it is saying the year will likely end without a single non-sequel crossing 200 million, even when you count in new characters in existing extended universes non-sequels. Even 2021 had Shang-Chi and the Legend of 10 Rings get to 225 million. Now that's domestic. And Black Adam has yet to open in China, and I think they're supposed to open next week or the week after. And Wakanda probably won't open because I know a lot of Marvel movies haven't been opening in China because of their more woke agendas, and China doesn't, not that I want to give China any praise or anything, but they are usually a good source of income for movies. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything I wanted to cover today. I was going to game, but I think I'm going to skip that. It's only a half-hour show today. I'm starting to get a little bit of headache. Besides that, the game I want to play, I don't think it's quite ready yet. So I thank you all for joining me today, and it was great to have everybody in the chat. We got Polymuse Minion, Alf Jeebus, Anima Confusia, Snortapupus Cuber, and we had Christopher Moonlight Productions here as well. So I will see you all later. You all have a good day and have a good night.